This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Clint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Happy Wednesday, the Jason Walker Show. We are inside the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Get a hold of Above All Handyman Services for everything you need to get your house remodeled, looking spotless after they're done. Tile work, fantastic. Paint jobs, you can get a 10% discount up to $250 by mentioning the Jason Walker Show. Get a hold of Above All Handyman Services today. We got a big show. We're going to have That's What She Said with Alex Eshelman. Get an update from Bobcats Camp and more. And a couple of other guests. Tom Stuber is going to join us, the great journalist. Also, AJ Eckmann will talk to us. And you can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com, and more, many, many more. Go to JasonWalkerShow.com, our Twitter handle @JWalkerSports, our email jason@JasonWalkerShow.com, and our phone number is 406-209-1267 if you want to weigh in on anything, including the biggest news of the day. The opening segment of the Jason Walker Show is brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry with three distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. You've got milled log, you've got handcrafted, and you've got timber frame. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. All right. We're going to talk a little tennis. We were going to talk a little softball. Capital with a big win over Helena High last night. But the news came out around 9 o'clock or about 8 o'clock, I guess, last night. And remember last week, the Anaconda School Board fired Rochi Estes, and the Jefferson High School Board last night said, hold my beer. Clint Layng is out at Jefferson High as the football coach. Now, today is 420 day. And the school board at Jefferson High is seriously smoking something extra. The school board voted not to renew the contract of head football coach Clint Layng. Now, Clint Layng, 62-36 in his career, after 10 years or so, had his team in the state Class B semifinals last year where they lost to Florence Carlton. This is a coach that was offered no explanation. School board just said no. And this was after his administrators had suggested his rehiring. And the school board still said no. And again, no explanation given. It was brought to a vote, and Kyrie Marks Russ, Buster Bullock, Danny Morris, Larry Rash all said, no, not happening. Larry Rash, Danny Morris, Buster Bullock, and Kyrie Marks Russ. Yes, we're calling them out by name because they deserve it. Because it's a joke. This team and Coach Layng lost in the state semifinals last year. They were one of 4 teams remaining in all of Class B. Okay? I'm just, it was shocking. I reached out to those school board members, Danny Morris, Larry Rash, Buster Bullock, and Kyrie Marks Russ. And none of them responded. What the hell's going on down there? Coach Clint Layng, not to mention when he was basketball coach, made pretty good runs. But as football coach, sent multiple players off to college. Not just in football, but in other sports. And in life. Coach Layng has coached in the Montana Shrine Game a couple of times, including this last summer. He lives and breathes football. And he gives 100% to every kid, every practice, every game, every season, including in the off season. It's absolutely nuts what's going on across the state. And you wonder why schools are losing great coaches. Anaconda, and now Jefferson High. And again, no explanations. They just said, nay. School board. Maybe the school board should start coaching. Members of the school board should start coaching if they're going to complain about coaches. And it's not even just a joke. It's a travesty. Chunky Thatcher on Twitter. First-class man and coach, I would really like to find out what the hidden agenda is. People of Boulder and Anaconda, do you realize your school boards are making you look like a-holes? Why would anyone want to apply for the jobs? Quote, unquote. It's absolutely terrible. Clint Layng's a good dude. You think about the kids that he's coached, and he's gotten so much support on social media. I've been in touch with Coach Layng. He's still in shock. At some point, he'll come on, he said. But what are you doing, Jefferson? Who's going to take that job? Who's going to want the job now? And, I mean, this guy had a good run at Livingston. He's had a great run at Jefferson. Again, 62-36 overall. And they just said, bye. His wife's a teacher and coach out there, too. Had her basketball team play in the state championship game in March. So, essentially, the school board said, we're going to let two really good coaches and teachers leave because we don't like the football coach anymore. Why? Why? We just want answers. And again, Danny Morris, Larry Rash, Buster Bullock, Kyrie Marks Russ. Why did you get rid of a successful teacher and coach and person? I've had a lot of people reach out, and one of them joins us now here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. He currently runs track and cross country for Montana, but he played under Coach Layng. His name is AJ Eckmann, and he joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show. All right, man, back in Montana after 4 years at Duke, but how you doing?
Not too bad. Pretty upset about, obviously, the recent happenings at Jefferson High School, but overall not too bad.
Yeah, and that's why you're on the show today. Let's just start right there. Forget the formalities and the introductions, but AJ, when you saw the news that Coach Layng was not going to be retained and rehired by the school board at Jefferson High, what were your first thoughts?
I mean, I actually didn't believe it. I heard the news from my brother. He called me. My littlest brother is still in high school, actually. And, yeah, I mean, I literally didn't believe it. And that was the same thing. Like, I texted my other brother, my other teammates under Coach Layng. And, like, I mean, literally no one believed it. Like, how can a coach who made the semifinals last year in the state playoffs without his quarterback, who was injured, by the way, like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, this is a guy that I think had maybe one losing season, and that was thanks to injuries. And give me your thoughts on Coach Layng. What's he like? I mean, we all know what he's like on the football field. He's passionate. He cares about the game of football. He loves the kids. And what was it like playing under him?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing with Coach Layng is you won't find anyone who cares, A, more about the kids and B, more about the sports, whether it be basketball or football, like, than Coach Layng. I'm not kidding you. I mean, the price, like what he's getting paid by the hour for how much time he puts into, you know, playbooks or watching film, whatever, is just like, it's way, way too low. And I think, like, really, you're just not going to find anyone who's more passionate about it and who cares more about their school and their team winning and the kids than Coach Layng. And really, it's just, I mean, you couldn't have fired a worse guy. Like, he literally is what I would call one of the best coaches in the state, let alone Class B. And I just don't get it.
No, I mean, it blows everybody's mind, I think. And like you said, I mean, this is a guy that was in the semifinals last year who has dealt with injuries and still finds a way to win. I'm going to read your tweet that you put out quoting you. "This is terrible from Jefferson High School. I'm embarrassed of this school. Coach Layng had a much bigger impact on me than any other coach/teacher have," end quote. And that goes what we were just talking about, the character of Coach Clint Layng, that, you know, he's a great coach. He's a great teacher, but he's a better guy. And he made a lot of guys, young men and women, really, better people. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, like, one thing that I really want to share here, and I don't know, once again, I'm not going to speculate on what the school board was thinking. I do know for a fact that both administrators voted him through, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, like, to me, that says that there wasn't a deeper problem, right? Like, the school administrators said, okay, yeah, like, let's hire him again. And then the school board were the ones who voted no. But, I mean, I think that's what it ultimately comes down to me, is, like, they obviously don't know him well. The kids know him. When I was a junior in high school, one of our good friends, his name was Dennis, committed suicide, one of the football players, and Coach Layng was the one asked to speak at his funeral. This was a kid who played JV football his freshman year, played 1 year of varsity football where he was, like, really under Coach Layng, and how much he meant to the kids, and that's how much the kids meant to him, is that he was the one asked to come speak at this kid's funeral. And I mean, like, could barely get words because he was so emotional, you know? And I think, like, it drives me insane that someone that means that much to the kids and someone that cares that much about the kids is, like, now just thrown out the window for who knows why.
AJ Eckmann, former Jefferson Panther, current Grizzly, joining us here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. I know you don't want to speculate, but, I mean, you never heard of problems at Jefferson High with football, and then when he was coaching basketball, you never heard of kids getting in trouble. You guys had great GPAs. You all graduated, and a lot went on to, you know, whether it was college sports or just, you know, great careers after high school. Why would the school board, in your mind, AJ, get rid of a successful coach and teacher?
You know, I'm not really sure. I think, like, honestly, I'm sure that, I mean, I don't know what the school board got, I guess. Like, maybe there were complaints from kids not playing enough or, you know, getting moved positions, things like that. Like, that's the only reasoning I can come up with, is that the school board got a complaint from a parent whose kid was not happy with their playing time, right? And they didn't check into it at all. Like, this was my issue, I guess, is that the administrators and Coach Layng were completely blindsided. Like, there was no, like, hey, we got this complaint. Like, can you explain your side of it? Like, hey, we are getting these repeated complaints. Like, what's going on? Like, Coach Layng had no awareness. The administrators had no awareness. It was just like, oh, we're going to vote not to renew his contract. And so I think, like, to do that to him and not give him a chance to defend what complaints there might have been, I don't even know if there were, I guess, but not give him a chance to defend himself. And, I mean, complaints probably from people, like I said, that weren't playing enough. I don't know. Like, it's just pretty bizarre that you would do that over what I'm guessing was maybe one or two complaints when there's literally as you've seen all over Twitter and everywhere now, like there's hundreds of former players and coaches coming to defend him. And so I think like to let one or two complaints outweigh the hundreds of people who he's made an impact on is just absolutely insane to me.
No, it completely blows my mind. And I saw, Bill Foley's tweet and immediately was pissed, I'm going to say. And I think that's the sentiment. I've gotten coaches, I've gotten officials that have responded saying, what is going on? And then you look down the road in Anaconda and the same thing happened last week. In your eyes, I mean, you've been out of high school now for 6 years, but in your eyes, what's going on with school boards across the state of Montana?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is obviously like speculation, but I mean, I don't know if you saw the article in the Boulder Monitor, but basically it looked like there were a lot of coaches by the school board that were voted not to renew. One person specifically voted for like 5 of the coaches not to get their contract renewed. And I think like, I mean, to me, it's really, especially the girls basketball team gets second at state. Boys basketball team makes divisionals. Boys football team makes the semifinals. And especially in Class B where there's so many teams, it's like, we really have problems with that many coaches when the teams are so successful. Like, I mean, to me, that's where it's like, okay, it's no longer about getting complaints. Like, are you just trying to get people fired to move on to new coaches? Like what, I mean, I don't know if it's like trying to assert your authority and show that you have the ability to get these people fired or what, but there's no reason anyone should have problems with that many coaches. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just not realistic.
No, and I mean, I agree with you as far as that goes. Like you said, I mean, girls, the basketball, the boys basketball, volleyball's good. Wrestling is good.
Yeah.
And yet there's a lot of coaches that don't have the support of the school board. Coach Lang's the only one that lost his job. But if you're a coach at Jefferson, what's in your mind right now?
Yep. I know. And that's, I mean, I saw a tweet from one of the, I think, C-team girls basketball coaches, and that's kind of what they were saying too is, wow, if you can make the semifinals in the state playoffs and be fired for who knows what, you're not given any awareness, you're not told anything whatsoever, and it's just like, oh, look, your contract's not renewed. Like, what's the standard? Like, do you have to win a state championship every single year, like, in order to keep your job safe? Especially with Coach Layng, who's had, it's not like this was his first year of success, right? Like, he's had plenty of years where he's gone deep into the state playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then he does it again last year, and now he's not renewed.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm a coach out there, AJ, I'm worried next year because what's it going to take for me not to come back?
Well, and it's insane too. I mean, the Layng family, Coach Lang's wife, Sarah, is the head girls basketball coach and head track coach. She just won Coach of the Year last year for track. They won the state championship. Probably who I would call favorites to win the state championship again in track this year. She just got second at state basketball. Layng has had numerous successes in both basketball and football. Like, that family literally almost single-handedly turned Jefferson sports into like a powerhouse in all sorts of sports, right? And so I think, like, I don't know, it's insane to treat someone that has done that much for the school and their family has done that much for the school and to just throw them out to dry like that. It's just absolutely insane.
AJ Eckmann, our guest here, Jason Walker, runs for the Grizz, former Jefferson Panther. Where do you see the football program going now? Because, you know, you're going to lose. I'm guessing that Coach's wife, Sarah, like you said, isn't going to want to stick around. And that's just speculation. But, you know, where do you see the football program going? Who's going to make it better than it has been? Unless you go, you know, and get a guy that, you know, that has won multiple state championships, but good luck, especially for what, like you said, what coaches don't get paid and what teachers don't get paid in this state. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I can just tell you right now, there's no way they find someone better than Layng. I do know for a fact too, I don't know if the plan was to move on to one of the assistant coaches or what, but it's funny because the school board's voting to fire all them too. So where certain members are, I guess. And so, like, to me, that's just absolutely insane. Also, I know from talking to some of the assistant coaches that they won't. There's no way they'll coach without Layng if Lang's not the head coach. And so I think, like, it's great to see, like, them standing up for him, showing, like, hey, like, we're not going to come fill his place, right? Like, we're going to stand behind him too. And I think like you said, there's going to be kids who do the same thing and who transfer out if this isn't fixed. So I don't know. I have to think that it's going to be resolved in some way, shape, or form. I know of dozens of people who have been calling the school, trying to get a new meeting, a revote, whatever it takes to try to fix this. But yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. I'll let you go on this, but how's your season looking for the spring outdoor?
Not too bad. We have kind of getting down to the wire to it here. We have a meet next weekend in Idaho and then a home meet May 7th and then go to conference from there. But yeah, it's going all right. Can't complain. Year 6, kind of getting down to the end of it now.
What's your plans after?
I'm working full time for John Deere right now as a data analyst. So probably continue doing that virtually, at least for the time being. And then we'll see where to go from there. Probably try to get into coaching at some point, but we'll see.
Well, probably not at Jefferson is my guess.
Yeah, definitely not.
Hey, maybe, Chunky Thatcher brought it up. Maybe someone on the school board should be the coach.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love to.
Hey, I appreciate the time. I know you got to run off to practice, no pun intended, but appreciate your thoughts and your words, and stay in touch. And hopefully you have a great end to the track season, and we'll chat soon, my man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
That is A.J. Eckmann joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, talking about Coach Layng not being brought back out at Jefferson High. And he was talking about a school board member that voted against others. His name is, I don't know if it's going to show up that well, but his name is Buster Bullock. And he also voted against offering contracts to 2 assistant football coaches, Joe Michaud and Josh Morris, as well as head basketball boys coach Anthony Knoll and boys basketball assistant coach Bruce Binkowski. And then Danny Morris, who voted against Layng, also voted against offering contracts to Binkowski, as well as girls basketball assistant coach Cassidy Parsons, who also is the Family Career and Community Leaders of America teacher. So, what a joke. What is going on with the school board at Jefferson High? And again, I reached out to Danny Morris, Buster Bullock, Kyrie Marks, Russ, and Larry Rash, and they all kind of chickened out because none of them got back to me. Nobody wants to speak about why you would let a successful football coach go. Not only that, but he's a teacher. It's unbelievable. Oh, we're going to hear from Tom Stuber coming up. He's got a kid playing volleyball, I believe, and basketball out there, but we'll talk to journalist Tom Stuber about this as well, and maybe get a different perspective. And when we return, Alex Eshelman, That's What She Said Wednesday. She'll talk Bobcats next. The opening segment of the Jason Walker Show, brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes. Veteran-owned, family-owned and operated, woman-owned and operated. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. Quick break. Alex Eshelman next. Hang on.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Just got a text from Miss Alex Eshelman, and she is slammed at work, so we'll get her on next week for That's What She Said. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. Speaking of That's What She Said, Dinner's Done Right has its spring fling tomorrow. Along with Just Tapped, Prickly Pear Quilts, and Helena Hair. You can enter win prizes at each store. Corner of North Montana and Cedar there from 3 to 6 tomorrow. The Spring Fling. Not only that, but you can stop by and see the Blixt Racing team showing off their 2 race cars. Meet the team, get some autographs, check out the vehicles as well. The Spring Fling. Dinner's Done Right. Cedar Center at the corner of North Montana and Cedar tomorrow from 3 to 6. We'll get Alex on to next week for That's What She Said. So That's What She Said will come tomorrow when we all talk with Mackenzie Johnston, the former Lady Grizz and former Capital Bruin, who is got her German team along with Lizzie Klinker playing for a championship in the pros over there on Saturday morning here, but Saturday night over in Germany. Also tomorrow, Reed Harris, the Great Falls High Bison standout, who's headed off to football at Boston College. And also Nick Winfield is going to join us tomorrow as the fallout from Clint Layng being non-rehired. And he will, Nick Winfield, who played for Coach Layng, will join us tomorrow as well. So, all right. I'm just in stun still. In other news that happened here in Helena, Capital got a 6-0 crosstown win over Helena High last night in softball. Nay Herndon with a complete game shutout. Ashley King, couple of hits, pair of RBI. And Herndon also had some good strikeouts, including the last batter of the game. Bengals didn't get the first hit of the game until the 4th inning. And that went to Kendall Klemp. But, it was not a great crosstown for the Bengals. They'll play again. Catherine Emmert had an RBI in the first inning, knocking in Anna Cockhill. Or rather, King did. Anna Cockhill in the third. But, King went 2 for 4, a couple of doubles, 2 RBI, and scored a run. So that top of that lineup for the Bruins is pretty good. 2 for 3, Amanda Nettleton went. Capital had 10 hits. 1 for 3 was Taylor Sayers, who had an RBI. Kylie Wetzel, McKenna Campbell also with some hits, but was not a offensive performance. Capitals now won 5 straight to move to 5-2 on the season. Helena High's 3-5, and both will be back in action this week. So there you go. Oh, let's see. What else did we see? Montana Tech women's track and field. This is impressive. They just started up not too long ago, and they're ranked 25th in the NAI. Well, in the U.S. Track and Field Cross Country Coach Association poll. And first time ever that Tech has been ranked this season, and the only one in the Frontier that's in the top 25. And jumped 20 spots. You've got team of or multis for the Frontier Conference Championship Thursday, Friday this week. The Frontier Conference Championship next week up in Great Falls, I believe, for individuals. But pretty impressive stuff there for that Montana Tech. Montana Tech's got some good things going on athletically. There's no question about that. We saw how good the men's basketball team was this year. Football on the rise as well. So, and then, of course, the golf teams are both pretty good with Sean Reed running the helm. Let's see here. Billings Central and beat Laurel last night in softball. Missoula Sentinel beats Butte in softball last night. You've got track over at Vigilante today as a couple of extra teams in town. You got Capital, Helena High, and Big Sky all playing. But the big news, of course, Clint Layng out at Jefferson High. It's unbelievable. And it's just a bummer because dude was always good with us. Remember at the radio station after Jefferson would be eliminated from the playoffs, which, didn't happen early. I mean, they played in the semifinals a year ago. Not even, less than a year ago, last season. And the school board said, nope, you're not coming back. And Buster Bullock voted for against 5 coaches. Luckily, all of them stayed. But we'll talk to Tom Stuber coming up. We've got On This Day in History on the way as well, the walk-off. And it has to do with Texas baseball. We'll show you the video. I believe it was last night, but man, oh man. So that's coming up in the walk-off. You'll want to stick around for that. Let's see, news out of the Gallatin Valley. Belgrade Gallatin softball moved from Friday to tomorrow because of incoming weather. So, there you go. There you go. And again, everybody's just in shock about Clint Layng. And again, it's one of those deals where the dude was successful not only on the field, but off the field. And multiple student athletes went on to have successful collegiate careers in sports. And that's a sign of a good coach. Not only are they good in the sport they coach, but also get kids ready for other sports. And, I remember watching kids grow up playing under my dad and in junior high, 5th through 8th grade, and then either going on to play basketball or wrestle and other sports. And you look at the success that Jefferson High is having in a lot of sports. Golf, I mean, come on. Is the school board just going to get rid of everybody out there? Whose kid complained about not enough playing time? That's really what I think it boils down to. And it's speculation, right? We don't like to speculate, but there's no explanation of why you don't bring back one of the most successful coaches at Jefferson High, who had the support of the administration, including, principal, superintendent, and the such. And now you're going to risk losing a women's basketball coach because the wife of Clint Layng, Sarah, and who wants to stick around after that? Serious. She just lost in the state championship game in March, a month ago. We talk about wrestling, during the season how good those kids are. Volleyball team was really good this year. And Jefferson High is just blowing it. Absolutely blowing it. And again, it goes back to Coach Layng is, he cares, right? He doesn't get paid a ton to coach, let alone teach. But now what are you going to do? Who's you going to replace him with? Who are you going to lure under the premise of you can win 60% of your games and we're still going to let you go? If is it state championships? Maybe that's what the school board needs to do. Come up with the thing. You've got to win state or you're not coming back. Here's another question. How many kids don't go out for football next year? Right? I mean, it's going to depend on the coach and how bad the kid wants to play, but you heard AJ Eckmann talk about it earlier on the Jason Walker show today. Who none of the assistants are going to want that job. It's unbelievable. And I keep using that adjective, but it is. I mean, I don't know, without risking language barrier or language issues, it's bull. It's absolute bull. But we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and when we return, Tom Stuber, the great writer, will join us. He works with Skyline Sports now, but he's been around for a long time. We'll get his thoughts. Maybe he'll offer a different perspective. And I'd like an explanation from the school board. So if you know Danny Morris, Larry Rash, Buster Bullock, Kyrie Marks, Russ, again, I've reached out to all four of them, and none have returned an email or a message. And if you know them, have them call in. Have them email me, jason@jasonwalkershow.com. I want to know why they got rid of a successful coach. This segment brought to you by Ruckers Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. We'll come right back. We'll talk to Tom Stuber next. Hang on.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Ruckers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Ruckers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Everyone knows about Dinner's Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinner's Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinner's Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Final segment, Jason Walker Show. Last call for calls, 209-1267. Efforting, phrase we use in the industry. Efforting Tom Stuber. He was driving back from the Flathead area today, so he might be out of service right now, but hopefully he'll give us a chat or a call, and we can chat about the firing of Clint Layng out at Jefferson High. Don't forget, tomorrow on the show, Mackenzie Johnston, Capital Bruin Lady Grizz, and currently playing pro ball overseas in Germany, will be playing for a championship on Saturday night. So we'll talk to Mackenzie tomorrow on the show. Also, Reed Harris will join us, the Great Falls Bison, who's headed off to play football at Boston College. Going to play receiver over there. And Nick Winfield, former Jefferson Panther, will weigh in tomorrow. As he'll talk about his thoughts on Coach Layng not coming back, thanks to some egotistical board members, I guess, is the word you could use. I've had some great conversations with people, and they're just shocked. I'll just read a couple of the texts that I've received since last night. And I won't name names, but big supporter, total bull, blank. They wonder why. Let's see. Another guy writes, they wonder why I'm leaving education, completely blindsided. And just... And again, I've had lots of conversations with Coach Layng since last night, and he's devastated. Absolutely devastated. And just caught completely by surprise. But yeah, members of the school board just voting not to offer him a contract. One, Justin Wilcutt was absent from the vote. Be interesting to see what his thoughts would have been. Briar Herrick made a motion to offer Layng the contract. Kyrie Russ then seconded the motion. This is from the Boulder Monitor. And then Bullock, along with Russ, so Buster Bullock, Kyrie Russ, Larry Rash, Danny Morse, all voted against offering. The board voted to retain all other coaches, but not with unanimous support. Bullock voted against offering contracts to assistant football coaches Joe Michaud and Josh Morris, as well as boys basketball head coach Anthony Knoll and boys basketball assistant coach Bruce Binkowski. Morris also voted against Binkowski, as well as girls basketball assistant coach Cassidy Parsons. Tom Stuber's going to try to call here in a second, so we'll get his thoughts on this day in history coming up. The walk-off, and we'll show you something happened crazy in Texas baseball last night. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay, we're waiting for Tom Stuber to give us a call. Here we go. All right. So Switch it over. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. We are live. I have to tell you that. So,
oh, thank you.
You kind of know how the rules go when you're when you take a phone call or make one. So,
yeah.
So, tell me about your thoughts last night when you saw that Clint Layng was not retained out at Jefferson High, because I believe you have a daughter that plays basketball out there.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, my daughter played for Clint's wife, Sarah, on the girls basketball team out there. And yeah, no, I just, I had these kind of things can really, these kind of conversations about stuff like this can really go 1,000 different directions and stuff. And so, the things that popped into my mind, I just, I want to try and keep them kind of concise here for you and your listeners and stuff. But, the one thing is I have a brother, a late brother, who was a superintendent of schools for over 30 years and stuff. And I had lots of conversations with him about school boards and how they relate to sports and all kinds of different things like that. And as far as the school board goes, and I want to talk about coaching too and life in general too. And I don't know how much time you have, so I'll try to be quick here, but as far as school boards go, they do the hiring and firing and a lot of stuff like that. But, he would always say that, one of their biggest roles is to be supportive and, be mentor-like or whatever to the teachers and coaches and whoever is, within the school system. And, and I saw what happened with Coach Layng, and I saw what happened with Coach over in Anaconda. And, and I don't know all the details about what's going on and stuff, but when it comes to, coaches and being released because of their win-loss record, or people don't think their teams are performing like they should or as well as they should, I don't think, firing the coaches, really is the answer. I don't like firing in any spectrum. I don't like to see anybody be rejected from anything. I don't like to hear my friends getting broken up with their girlfriend or anything like that. It's just not a good deal. But when it comes to coaching and stuff, a lot of the coaches around Montana are pretty new. Most of the coaches are pretty new to the job and new to the gig. And a lot of them do need time to learn and stuff. And I just think that, instead of firing coaches for their lack of performance or whatever, a school board or whatever should look to help that coach find a mentor or someone to work with them a little bit on whatever they feel are the deficiencies or whatever. And on the same, that kind of segues into the coaches side of things is, coaches should be looking for mentors and looking for people to help them get better. And I think most of them do. I think, when a coach like John Wooden or Mike Krzyzewski or Bobby Knight or whoever write a book, a lot of the people that buy that book are coaches, and they're not necessarily buying it because they think those coaches are great literary geniuses. They're buying it because they're looking to get better themselves and stuff. And so, I think everybody's looking for the same thing, but, sometimes, there's knee-jerk reactions, and there's parents, and there's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes that are, pulling tugging on the school board's, shirt tail or whatever to try to get something happening and make a change. And it's just like, and now they bring in another coach or whatever, and a couple of years down the road, they're right back to where they were.
Right.
They've got somebody in there and somebody's unhappy, and then they get a new school board member on, and it's like, okay, this new school board member wants to get rid of this coach or whatever. And I know, and I'm not talking about Jefferson or Anaconda or any schools in particular. I'm just talking in general about school boards that, try to evaluate, their coaches just based on a win-loss record. And that isn't always why coaches are released, I think, obviously. But and then lastly, it's, people, everyone, and I think most people have this in their back of their mind, but this is just a game, it's just a game. I know, and I know that, a lot of the players want to get scholarships, and that's, a big monetary thing and stuff and whatever. But at the same time, everybody's got to realize, a player, you got to go into if you're going into a sport and you really love it and you really want to be playing in college, you've got to go into it knowing that might not happen.
Right.
And as a coach, you might go into that job and, And you got to know that the school boards are like this sometimes. And you may love coaching, and that school board may let you go. But if you really love it, you got to stick with it. You can't. It's a bummer and everything, but you got to stick with it and keep going. And those are a bunch of the things that popped into my head. And,
sure.
And like I said, yeah, these conversations can take on a life of their own, but that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of where I'm coming from on it.
Tom Stuber joining us, a great journalist, and you're still with Skyline Sports?
I still am with Skyline Sports.
Right.
I'm with whoever will take me. I got let go from Associated Press last year because they quit doing FCS football. So unfortunately, Coulter was right there to pick me up. So,
yep.
And that's an even better job. He's got a better job at Skyline Sports than AP anyway. So, so that worked out good.
Yeah, he does a great job. I love reading your guys' stuff. Going back to Jefferson specifically, and with Coach Layng, I had AJ Eckmann on, and I've had lots of former players reach out, and they're like, Jason, this isn't just about football. This is a guy that, he's passionate. He lives and breathes football and basketball when he was coaching, but he made these guys successful off the field. And and I bring it up, in the 8 years that I've covered him, there was never an issue with, a player getting in trouble with the law. There was never, kids that weren't graduating because of the grades. I mean, he made these kids better people. Forget the sports aspect. He did his job as a teacher and then as a coach to make them successful for the rest of their lives. And that's where I look at it from.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, and that's, those are things the school board should be weighing. I mean, even more so than the one-loss record, right?
Right.
And, and I don't know, those kids know the coach way better than I do, but I've talked to him before, and he's a great guy. He's a really friendly guy. And he's into it. He's into the girls' basketball team. I'm sure he's into golf and track and everything else. He's a sports guy. And, it's just, it's a bad deal, and the kids they're having a tough time with it.
Well, and
obviously,
and like you mentioned, his wife Sarah is the head basketball coach for the girls. They just played for a state championship. Football was in the state semifinals. Now the school board is risking, by not offering him a contract, losing two great coaches. Not to mention, the assistant Cassidy Parsons didn't have full support of the board, even though she was rehired. And then you've got one guy, Buster Bullock, in the school board voting not to retain the boys' head basketball coach, Anthony Knoll, and their team was successful. I mean, if I'm a coach at Jefferson, you've lost your football coach. You've probably lost a lot of the assistant football coaches who make absolutely nothing. These guys don't do this for the money. We know that. Not to mention, you're probably now losing your head girls basketball coach. Because if I'm her, I'm not sticking around for the school that just fired my coach and my husband. And you just had who, by the way, had full support of the administration.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. It's that perception that the school board has. I mean, you may have a really good finish to the end of the year, but they may feel like you should have done even better, or you could finish third at state or win state or whatever, but you were only 10-8 during the season, and you should have had a better winning season going in. I mean, and then this is what I was talking about. These conversations take on a life of their own. I mean, there's so many different weird, strange things that go on, and it's like, if you feel that way as a school board, you don't, I mean, I think I have good news for school boards around the state. You don't have to fire the coach. You don't have to do that. It's a lot easier to not fire the coach, take the coach out, but the coach at the same time has to be receptive.
Sure.
Coaches have to be, because coaches can be stubborn.
Oh yeah. We've dealt with them.
Yeah. I mean, I can, everybody can. Nobody wants to be told how to do something that they think they know how to do already. Right. Nobody likes that. Nobody's, but you have to be, I think, as a coach, you have to be looking to get better at all times. It reminds me of my big hero is Kirby Puckett. And Kirby Puckett, when he was playing baseball, went over to the Royals dugout looking for George Brett. Where's George Brett? And finds George Brett and starts asking George Brett for tips on how to hit. And George Brett looks at him like, "Are you nuts? You're already a better hitter than I am."
Yeah.
But that's Kirby Puckett. He wanted to get better all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing for these coaches. It's like, stick with it. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different. When you're in these little towns, these guys want to stay in that town.
Yeah.
They want to coach that school. They aren't looking to, like, if I do good at, in a Class B school, I'm moving up to A or double A or whatever. I mean, some of the coaches do, but that isn't always what they're in it for. And so, again, though, these kind of conversations start going in 1,000 different directions. But I mean, my basic point is that, instead of firing people, and this is the way it is in most jobs, I worked for the state for 30 years. And if somebody is underperforming at the state, they usually, the bosses talk to you and say, hey, this is something you need to work on. We're going to send you to this class so that you can learn how to do this, And it should be, not exactly the same, but something similar,
It's absolutely nuts. I appreciate your thoughts, Tom. I mean, Coach Layng was 62-36 as a coach. It's not
wow.
I mean, he won, what's that, 60%, 60-some% of his games. That's not like terrible. And he's always going to camps. He was always reading books. He was always learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it blows my mind. And I reached out to the school board for those members, and none of them responded. So
and they hardly ever do, I don't think.
And this is why, Tom, too, why we're losing great teachers, we're losing great coaches. We already know about the official shortage across the state. Parents have too much control nowadays, I think.
Yeah, it is. But that goes back to my last point, my third point about, it's just a game, guys.
Yeah.
It's just
these are kids.
High school sports. These are kids. These coaches aren't full-time coaches. There's going to be mistakes made. I think the main thing people need to do, everyone, all the way from school boards, principals, teachers, coaches, players, parents, everyone, you've got to keep it in the back of your mind that this is just a game. Things aren't always going to work out the way I think they are. And you may feel like that for the rest of your life.
Yep. For sure.
But it's unfortunate, and I hope that enough attention gets brought to this that something positive can come out of it.
Absolutely.
But we shall see.
Well, hey Tom, I appreciate the time. I'm glad you got back to Helena safe, and let's check in during Bobcat football season, shall we?
Definitely. Yeah. All right. That sounds great. And thanks for having me on, and hope you have a great day.
Anytime, Tom. Thank you. That is Tom Stuber joining us, the great writer with Skyline Sports, and you can check his work out online. He's fantastic. And interesting thoughts. And it's crazy, and we want explanations. And like he said, it's a game. It's high school. It's a high school game, and these kids are much better in life because of coaches like Clint Layng, and now Jefferson has just blown that out of the water. All right, let's do on this day in history. It is April the 20th. It is National Banana Day, Cheddar Fries Day, Lima Bean Respect Day. It is Lookalike Day as well. 1887, Georges Bouton wins the very first motor race in the world on a steam-powered quadricycle. 1912, Fenway Park officially opened, just a few days after the sinking of the Titanic. Also, Tiger Stadium in Detroit opened up in 1912, as did Wrigley Field, then known as Wegman Park, on this date in 1916. Ted Williams got his first major league hit on this date in 1939. Bill Shoemaker won his very first race, the Great Jockey, in 1949. Tom Seaver won his first game, 1967, with the New York Mets. In 1988, the Yankees would hit home runs number 9,999 with Dave Winfield. Claudel Washington, number 10,000, and Jack Clark, number 10,001 for the 1988 Yankees on this date. And on this date in 2008, Danica Patrick, driving for Andretti Green Racing, wins the Indy Japan 300 in Motegi, the first female driver in history to win an IndyCar Series race. Danica was fantastic behind the wheel. Happy birthday to Don Mattingly, the great Yankee slugger, born on this date in 1961, and Carmen Electra, the actress, born on this date in 1972. Her real name is Tara Lee Patrick. There's another Tara Patrick with a different spelling, born in Great Falls. She now lives in Italy and was a great actress as well, I'm told. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky, the best Cajun food this side of the Mississippi. And in today's walk-off, it has to do with a home run. And it happened last night in Texas. I believe this is Texas college baseball, not the University of, but this is Texas college baseball. Okay, so this kid hits a home run, a three-run home run. Okay, he's between second and third. Watch what the pitcher does. Check this out.
North Central is taking the lead here in game one. Oh,
that's a hell of a tackle.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
The pitcher just absolutely smokes the guy that hit a three-run homer off him again. Check this out. Watch this again. Guy's rounding third, ready to shake the hand of his third base coach. Bang! John Madden would have been proud of that hit. Holy cow. Oh. Craziness ensues. The pitcher just laid out the guy. He got pissed, gave up a homer, three-run jack, and then he just lays out the guy that hits the home run. Oh, goodness. What else did we learn today? Well, we learned that the Jefferson School Board is whacked, is absolutely whacked. It's getting rid of a successful football coach in Clint Layng, who was 62-36 in his career, and put multiple players at the college ranks, not just for football or other sports, but successful engineers, successful analysts like A.J. Eckmann with John Deere. We appreciate A.J. joining us. Appreciate Tom Stuber joining us as well. We'll keep this up. Try to get some answers. Why was Clint Layng fired? We'll find out more, hopefully. Nick Winfield's going to join us tomorrow, former Panther. We'll talk to Reed Harris, Great Falls Bison, future Boston College Eagle, and Mackenzie Johnston will join us from Germany tomorrow as well. If you missed anything or want to weigh in on the show, you can. Go to jasonwalkershow.com. You can also click on the donate page. Help us out. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. And you, of course, the listeners. And, man, have fun. Have a great Wednesday. We'll do this again tomorrow. This is the Jason Walker Show. We appreciate you. See you tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
By the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.